Hey guys, this is Leah Lakey, and I am with Ben and Skyler. We all run and manage Site Savvy, so I am the manager for Site Savvy,
I'm the co-owner and second partner.
and this is Ben.
And I'm Skyler Young. I'm also a partner and founder and consultant developer person.
The techie guy. I'm
Yeah,
just here for business development.
Yeah, I'm the resident geek.
for this month and kind of quarter, what we want to talk about is how websites and social media are a team and how they should be working together. And we're working on this ourselves, but especially we want to kind of describe to our clients and anyone listening or watching how the heck this works, because I see it very often where someone will have a really active Facebook and there's a ton going on. It's almost like there's so much happening, right? There's events, there's they're sponsoring other events or other organizations, or they're posting videos, or just sharing funny things, right? And then you go to their website and it's just so different. So I kind of just wanted to get your guys' take on this topic in general. Before, well, I guess I thought I was going to treat it like an interview, but I guess I don't have to. We could just talk. So just right off the bat, like when you guys hear that topic, like what comes to your mind?
I think of how much when I've found a good social media post, and then when I go to their landing pages or their websites and it's really much the same, like it feels really smooth, I'll more likely convert almost always. Whereas if it's like jarring when you leave and go to their website and they don't have stuff that backs it up, instantly I'm like, I don't trust this. And so some of that just is kind of like the basic psychology, I think, of people, and why it's so important they need to mirror each other, and they need to really be constantly updated in sync with each other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, I tend to think about how um, I'm not as likely to click on something that's like, get a coupon or buy the service here, 20% off, because I'm not usually in buy mode on social media. But
Mm-hmm.
if I see something, an informational piece that kind of grabs my attention, like I don't know, 3 ways to keep spiders out of your house this Christmas. I might follow that and take a look, right? I'm like, oh, I'm interested. Like, how do I do this? And
Right.
again, like Ben said, the handoff is good, and I hit a page that's, that article, then it grabs me. I'll probably read that.
Okay. Yeah. Um, so what do you guys think of when you go to people's Facebooks and you just see this like 5-story essay on whatever it is they're talking about? Like, is that something you guys even like want to read when you're on Facebook or Instagram or
I think a lot of times it just depends on like who the person is speaking, but a lot of times from businesses and social media stuff like that, I would want it to be pretty short and succinct, and I'd want you to give me more information at a different spot. Give
Mhm.
me the high details and the engaging bits, and then pull me in.
Well,
Because then
and thinking,
I'm a scanner. I don't
Mhm.
always read things in depth. I like to scan and get the glean of information.
and then from the website owner side, I'm always just like, oh my goodness, now Facebook owns all those keywords, you don't. So
Yeah.
it's like put the heavy content on the website where even if no one's going to read it because it's too dense, you're at least like pleasing the search engine gods, and then link to it from Facebook. So you get it too for, you get some traffic, you get some link building, and you get the keywords on your website. Like, that's a magical combo.
I've been trying to explain that to people, and it's a little weird, right? When you make posts, it's like, yes, you want to create it in a way that will make sense if anyone reads it, but you're not really creating a post hoping, oh, I hope a bunch of people read my post, because that's not the point. It's you're creating it for the search engines, not really, hopefully someone reads it one day, but that's not really the point, right? The more that you're just cramming keywords into your site, you're just way more likely to show up in search results if people are looking at that specific topic. You know, a site that says, you know, we only said website once on our website versus like 30 times, you know, we're probably going to show up a lot more if we're saying those words a lot more.
Well, and for me, if I'm buying, like looking up a company on social media, a lot of times I'm doing it to like verify that they're legit and that they have like a history of being like active. And now some services, like I don't expect them to be on social media but as much, but generally when I see that they are active about sharing information, active about their reviews, things like that, it always helps increase that legitimacy. And I think that that's a big part of social media and websites kind of going hand in hand.
Yeah. So
I would say that you can kind of take it to the next level, you know, beyond that. Like you do want the keywords. If you really want to kick it up, then you start thinking of those pages as combination of keywords, but also formatting the page as a landing page, so that you really can capture the human traffic as well. When you start getting it, you know, which you will eventually, even if you're taking the slow road to SEO. If you're doing some SEO, it will pay you off in the long run. But then you gotta start making an experience that converts the people who come to your website into customers, or whatever that end result that you're looking for is. It may be different for nonprofits, you know, than for businesses, but you have something that you want people to.
Yeah, a call to action, a conversion point.
mhm.
Always have a call to action. Never have, you know, something without one.
Um, so something that I feel has really helped people kind of understand this is they first have to understand the difference between their social media and their website, because a lot of people kind of just think it's the same thing, right? They treat their Facebook like their website, right? That I don't know what it is, but yeah, well, probably because it's free, right? And they can do it, and it's easy to set up. But I think we should. So I want to explain to people like why they should be directing people to their website, right? It's like, why not direct people to my Facebook? Why not direct people to just, here's my phone number or here's my email? Like, why should we?
That's easy though.
You know,
This is something that happens rarely, but this does happen. A perfectly legitimate business that's done nothing wrong, for whatever reason, gets flagged as spam or just low quality content, or for whatever reason gets shadow banned by Facebook, which is the worst, because then you don't even know about it. You never get notified, but you lose all traffic. Like they have algorithms doing that now, and sometimes innocent bystanders get caught up in those. You're toast. Yeah. You have no recourse. If that was your point of contact on the internet, if that's where you've been training all of your existing customers to go, you have no recourse. I mean, good luck getting that back from Facebook. That is a long and painful process for most people, if it ever happens. So just on the grounds of a business should own its own assets, I would say it's an absolute necessity that someone owns their own website instead of depending on Facebook or Google or any other outside third party as the main point of contact online.
exactly. Yeah.
I think it's where you kind of position the website in the sales funnel or the conversion funnel for the business is really important shift between the two. Social media should be something that's higher up in the funnel that's sending people to the website. It should not be your website sends you to the social media. And now you can reference back to it, but it should be your websites where you're bringing them for taking their money, setting them up for a meeting, giving them the information they need. It's not the point that you're like, okay, now go look at my social media, because then you don't have any of that control.
Well, and also like, you know, having analytics set up on your site too, right? You want to drive as many people as you can to your site, because then you can actually start, it's just more data for your analytics reports. Because if you have it scattered everywhere, like on some ads, you're like, go to my Facebook. On some other ads, you say, go to my website. Right now, you're just splitting your audience, and you're not actually sure really how many people you have checking you out. So if you can just funnel all of them into one platform that you own, like that makes the most sense. And then you can start like tracking those patterns and analytics. And then you could start seeing like, oh, all these people came from my Facebook, these people came from Google, right? Then you can start figuring out where you're putting your money into those different marketing funnels based off of like who's doing better, who's doing worse, or, you know, whatever your strategy is.
I think that's a piece, Leah, on the analytics, because a lot of people don't even think about that. They just want to get their website up and get people to it. But really, where I think we spend the most amount of time with our clients is after we've launched a website and doing that continual reiteration, and a lot of like the updating, and a lot of those ideas from updating can come from a good analytics report for, we have this traffic and these are the pages they're going to. These rest of these pages are kind of just there for you to feel good. Let's put some more time in the ones that are actually bringing people to the website. So
yeah, I kind of look at like their social media should be something that people can scan through, almost like a newsletter list, right? Like, oh, this is what they have going on. And if I want to read more about any of these topics, there's always going to be a link to go to their website to get more information. Like that's how I view social media, as it should be, not probably as it normally is, but that's what it should be.
yeah,
You know, here's a few sentences, let me grab your attention. Oh, want to read the rest of this blog article or want to sign up for our event or whatever, click here, go to our website. And then, you know, if your website's set up correctly, then that's a whole nother thing, right? You don't want to send people to your website if your website's crap, right? Like you want it to convert, you want very clear call to actions, you want it to be very obvious of what you do. So you don't want to pump a bunch of money into marketing and then not have a great website. And then, you know, you're just wasting money at that point. So first, make sure your website's set up. Then, you know, in the blog, I include the little graphic, right? Your website needs to be the hub of information. And then whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, TikToks, Instagram, billboards, newsletters, radio ads, right? All of that is circling your website as your hub of information. They should all be pointing and directing people to your website.
Yeah.
So
yeah, there's something interesting. I've been working with some enterprise data about organizations across the country, and when the data experts, the analysts are looking at ways to find duplicate records, they're finding the domain, the URL, right, the website address for an organization to be the most immutable piece of data about that organization, apart from like their tax ID or something. It's more consistent in format than their name, even often. It's less likely to change than their corporate offices are. So their address could change before their URL does. The URL is far and away becoming the single most identifiable and consistent piece of identifying information about businesses and organizations. So
yeah,
having that, you know, staking a claim on it and then really putting that out there to the world so that they know you through that. It's the easiest way to be memorable to people in terms of like, how do I find them again?
Right.
That website.
Yeah, and having a website that and a domain that's easy to remember and easy to share with people is really important too. So while sometimes it may be different than what you like initially wanted or not exactly with your business name, I think ease of use and like remembering, tying it back to the business always, but is more important than it being your business name.
Right. And that's
so
why
footnote on that. Go ahead.
And that's also why we recommend people can buy multiple domains, or if you ever decide to change your domain, still hold on to that old one, because, you know, if you've been in, like this was with us, right? We had sitesavvy.systems for 6 years. Like we're still pretty new to the .com, right? If we would have just let it expire, that's like 6 years of a website that was using that domain that someone else could just snatch up, redirect to their site, you know, maybe a competitor. And then all of a sudden, all that work, all that SEO ranking that we worked on for that domain now goes to someone else. So yeah, whenever you have domains, like you want to own them, you just redirect, like you could have 20, right? But as long as they're all redirecting to your website, that's even probably another marketing strategy I don't think we've talked about, but like,
no, not as much. Like
a bunch of domains that specific to whatever that cell is, but they all just
there is like SEO businesses that I've seen do that where they focus on selling like a service. So if they're like plumbing or like pests, I've seen businesses do things like that where they kind of batch buy Seattle pest control and things like that that are available and send it. But it ends up being difficult to manage the SEO on the end website sometimes if it has so many different domains.
Yeah, there are some really advanced strategies. The most interesting one is to do something along with the lines of you were just saying, Leah, which is buy a competitor's domain if they let it expire and redirect it back to you so that you get all the SEO juice,
Little secrets.
Yeah, but it's pretty rare that opportunity surfaces. But you're also hitting on something really important, which is I've seen a lot of business owners be intimidated trying to find a .com that is good. It's not too long, et cetera, because .coms have been pretty well picked over. It's very acceptable to use the new top level domains, or TLDs as they're called. It's like 200 of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I can get, website.com. That was gone a long time ago. Website.io, website.dev, website.business, website.shop. Like all of these other ones are available now. And much easier to find a pretty good domain in that expanded group. And it's acceptable to use those now. It really is. Like younger generations, new audiences, even my parents' generation are catching on to the fact that I may have a different ending on my URL, and that's perfectly fine. So yeah, it's a good way to get started, and then maybe someday you can graduate to purchasing your .com, which is what we did. After we had the revenue for it, we could afford it at that point. But you have to grow into it sometimes.
And a lot of times it's not worth paying a lot of money initially. Not when you don't have any history.
No. I mean, most businesses start with word of mouth, so it's not the most critical thing yet. You do have to get a domain established, so start with what you can.
Agreed.
So I think a lot of the information that we shared is really good, but let's look at this realistically, right? If we have business owners listening to us or watching us or whatever, where do they even start? Like, what does the process look like from start to finish of blog posting and then getting on their social media? Like, what does that look like?
The best option, tell one of your employees to go write for you. If you don't have any, if they can't, don't want to, whatever, and it has to fall back on you, and it's another thing on your plate as the owner, it is worth it. And I'll say that in my experience doing a lot of copywriting for 2 brands now, when I really don't have time to do it, that time is invaluable. It does double duty. It gets me thinking deeply about my business, about what sets me apart from the competitors, really what my focus and mission is, what my ideal clients are. And I get the article that I need to publish, right? But there's value that goes beyond just that. So when I've actually done it, I've received a lot more value out of it as the business owner, which ended up making it really worthwhile to me. It was worth the time I put into it. That would be sort of an encouragement that I would put out there for the business owners. This will pay dividends you don't even know if you do prioritize it, sit down, take that time to just write something out.
The other thing I'd say is, for me, sometimes where I end up finding the ideas for content is an email. And I know, Leah, you've said that before too, of like when we've said something to a client or to a customer or to someone you've talked to about your business, a lot of times you end up having some good words that will be something you can flesh out into a bigger article. So a lot of times the question that someone's had is something that other people are going to have questions for. And the more that you can take that and turn it into content that can be shared more broadly, that sets you up for lots of things, and people can come to you for resource. And that's sometimes the most important, because at the end of the day, so I do real estate and stuff outside of Site Savvy. And for me, it's always just being top of mind when one of my customers has a need. So when they think of real estate, they think of me, or when they think of websites, they think of Site Savvy. Like, that's what we want to create, that relationship with our customers. And so I think it's big for business owners to think about what is that relationship they want and how do they stay in that top of mind or as a resource for them.
Right. Yeah.
Questions are great, right? That's what Leah's always talked about. Like, you can turn your blog into an FAQ, frequently asked questions. It's a great way to streamline a business process and get keywords.
And you're training clients to, oh, hey, I already answered this. Here's my blog post. Check it out. And then you're training them, you know, hopefully, right? If you have to do it enough, they start to think, oh, I'll go to their website first before I email them. And that is what you want.
Yeah.
Saving time, right? Saving time, answering for the 20 bajillionth time, saving time, just like redirecting people. Yeah, it's like and then it helps with search engines. It's like a win-win-win-win. It's great.
Making things be a circular benefiting win is always important.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I think we got some pretty thorough information on that. So thanks guys. Until next time.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Cheers, guys. We'll see you all later. Don't forget to read the written version down below.
Oh, yeah.